Hey guys, welcome to Hip-Hop Clarity, where we don't follow the noise, we follow the receipts. Because in this culture, the story is one thing, but the truth, that's something else. Let's get into it. Now, before we start, as always, I need y'all to pay attention. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hey, so welcome back to Hip Hop Clarity, and today we are doing our reaction to Remy Ma's Lifetime movie, Don't Trust the Girls Upstairs. Okay, so on my post, I said that I had to watch it again because, well, I did. I watched it a couple more than twice, actually, because I know I was missing so much. Things just wasn't making sense the first go around, and it could have been because I was just so excited about Remy performing her starring role on this. Um, but after I watched it again and then certain other parts again and again, just to make sure, I got the fluidity of the situation or of the movie. Because I did see where some people was like stuff was just going so fast. And for myself, I even said that said it started out kind of slow and then it just seemed like it just went so fast. But what I realized was that there were little pieces of nuggets that was being planted throughout the movie that connected to the other pieces. So it wasn't that it was slow then fast. It was going according to the way it's supposed to because Lifetime is one of those channels that will speed up an ending in a heartbeat, right? When it's like, okay, well, we're at the 1 hour and 30-minute mark. Let's wrap this up. Let's come on, chop chop, ending. So I did have to watch this several times. And I'm gonna tell you, I liked it. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Um, I'm gonna give you what I give it at the end. So let's go with first off, let's talk about the daughters. So, starting with the first set of daughters, and what I mean by that, I'm talking about Remy's character Ashley, and I forgot her. I think her sister's name was Courtney, Ashley and Courtney. So it seems as if they had great times and what have you, but Courtney had an explosive personality, or she liked to fight, or she had anger issues a lot and everything. I do wish well, before I say this, and it seems as if some of those characteristics did pass on to the daughter. The daughter said something that was really significant when she was talking to Ashley, which was played by Remy. Um, when she said, I thought it was just me, they were speaking about how Courtney used to be very explosive and how she loved her mom, but she was kind of very scared of her mom too because her mom would come out very angry with her. And I was thinking like, oh, I would really love to see them, you know, develop that little part more, that connection just a little more. But I understand, it is a Lifetime movie, so it wasn't like a full length type of show, but it was good. It was good. So at least you could tell that they tried to delve into so many parts of that book to keep the connection going, right? Um, I seen where one commentator when they was reviewing it was like, okay, so they just became friends. The next time, like one scene they were enemies, and the next scene they weren't. But again, you have to watch each scene carefully, right? Because that's what I thought when I first saw it. But again, watching it again, I'm saying it again too much, but whatever. I saw where Remy did well, Ashley, excuse me, Remy's character Ashley spoke to both of the ladies, young girls. It was like okay, I'm gonna need you two to get along. And I like the way she did it because she's coming from a place of, look, me and my sister didn't get along. And because of that, she passed and I didn't get to say goodbye and all of this stuff. So understanding that, and I think what the intent of the comprehension was, no, it wasn't like it was that instant, but within a couple of months of them going to therapy. So you kind of jump the scene, but you should know that, okay, a couple of months has passed without them telling you, a couple of months has passed and we're working on our friendship, as the daughters of each other, as the first cousins and what have you. Now, from that point, I am going to say this about the young lady that plays Remy's daughter, and I forgot her name. Luna, I think it's Luna. She's Luna, and I forgot the other girl's name. Whatever. Courtney's daughter and Luna. Okay, Luna a spoiled ass brat. I'm not gonna. Ooh, that child there within the first 10 minutes, I wanted to yank her and throw her. Let me tell you something. She played that role very well. Let me tell you why. Because you find out that your first cousin that you really don't know at all, because your mother and her sister is estranged. I get it that your mother promised you this room, this gorgeous room that you're supposed to have because of course, you being a teenager, you want that autonomy or semi-autonomy, right? And so your cousin comes in, and unfortunately, due to a bad situation, she ended up moving up in that attic. Do you or in that upstairs golden room that you wanted, right? Do you know that this girl lacked so much empathy about that, and she was so spoiled. She was so spoiled. And then there was this part, right? It was the part at the psychiatrist's office. I don't know if she's a psychiatrist, sociologist, I don't give a damn which psychologist, whatever the hell she was. This chick sat up there and had the audacity, all of the nerve within her little black soul to sit here and tell Ashley that she was a horrible mom. And do you know Ashley let her live? She let her live. I was like, so so what I'm understanding is that Remy's part is she can't knock the hell out the child. Is that the part? She can't do that? Because y'all really giving her a whole lot. It's too much patience. That was crazy. That right there. Ooh, that girl got on my. Ooh, I wanted to snatch her little ass and throw her out the window. You hear me? Because she was talking too much, too much. But we're gonna move past that. That shows how good of an actress she was. 'Cause I was like, ooh, I would have yanked her ass by just out of just out of what out of emotion. It would have just been like a secondary reaction. Out of reaction, I would have just snatched him. Who are you talking to? I would have yanked it real quick. I don't know how. I don't know how. Remy was able to just. That's how good of an actress Remy is. Because I would have went out of character real quick. Like, who the fuck you think you? Hey, you know what I'm saying? So that psychiatrist or psychologist would have called 911 on me specifically. But outside of that, it was crazy too because I almost forgot that they had a son because he popped in, popped out real quick, but the little boy was cute. But now let's get into like the whole thing. It's been a while. It's been a couple of days, and I didn't want to spoil no spoilers, and I'm not going to spoil it now. But the intuition that Ashley had when she had to confront her dude, she knew what that was. And at first, I didn't get that part because I was like, I know she just didn't walk away when he told her that bullshit. I know she just didn't walk away when he said what he said. But then again, the nuances, she cried. She knew what it was. She knew what it was. It was crazy. It was crazy, right? So I was like, okay, that's the part that I did miss. That she went into the bathroom, she came out, she covered, you know what I'm saying? You know how we do when we know what it is. And okay, now I gotta start thinking, right? Another thing that caught my attention, and it caught it the first time. When she initially got the phone call about her sister and her husband looked up, and I was like, why are you looking like that? And then there was another time he looked too. He looked weird when she first talked to him, and she left the room, and he looked at himself in the mirror. I said, yeah, okay, okay. So, because at first I wasn't liking Ashley Murray's character, because I was like, I know y'all not making her so naive, aloof, and she has no emotion. But it seems as if, like, as a lot of women do, we cover our emotions when we know some bullshit is going on, right? They made her very controlled, but I think they made that character very controlled because I've seen somewhere some of the outside critics was talking about she's too controlled or what have you, like she has no emotion. But I think that her character was based like that because remember her sister was always explosive. So she always intentionally was calm. That was no matter what she did, she spoke with intention. Even let you get your shit off saying little smart shit because she's trying to be calm and logical about the situation because she dealt with a sister that was crazy as shit, right? Now, this is the shit that got me. all that shit that went on, right? You notice the one thing that man did not cop to was that dang necklace. Everything else, he was like, yeah, that's me. Right? But he said, I ain't, wait, the necklace was mine though. That was, all that, right? And I'm like, because I'm not gonna front. This is what I thought. I thought that, and I still kind of think this too, but I never read the book, so I don't know. But when I was looking at it, I was like, that niece knows what's up. Because when Ashley found that diary and she was taking pictures, all of that wasn't that woman's that her sister's handwriting. All of that wasn't her sister's handwriting. And I bet you peas to a dollar that that niece knew exactly what was going on. That's why there was a lot of tension. She read, I think she knew what it was. She wasn't stupid. Because in certain, and I ain't gonna say too much because I don't know who all saw it and who didn't, but in certain things that when he was explaining, I was like, that niece knew what was going on and it's such and such and things that was yeah, because she said that was her mom's journal. And I'm like, if that's her mom's journal, more than likely her mom then wrote a whole lot of stuff in there. Ashley's looking in the journal. You didn't look to see what else was in there. You only did a couple of, you didn't, and again, you know what I'm saying? Again, she probably didn't read everything, but that girl read that whole journal. And you don't think that her mama didn't say what she needed to say in order for her to figure out some shit? You see what I'm saying? Not, she never acted indifferent, but she knew that that dude didn't like her. You see what I'm saying? So, that's what made me think about the Lockett part too, because I was like, she did that Lockett. But in a way, it was kind of cool because she got that girl up off of her cousin too, right? She got it like, okay. Okay, I'll put a locket in your bag, beat you up for it, whatever. We're gonna stop this though, but you ain't about to bully nobody. So she has some sneaky ways about her too, right? But the part that I wanted to know was how did her sister end up, when I say her sister, Ashley's sister, Remy Ma's character sister, end up in that situation? I know that the person explained it, how it happened, but I need to know how. Because is that another reason why she was always um standoffish with Ashley? Was because of the shit that she knew she was doing? You know what I'm saying? So she was standoffish and explosive because she was mad at herself for doing that to her sister. Also, who killed that girl's daddy? Who killed Ashley's niece, which is Courtney's daughter's daddy? What was it, Courtney? Or was it or the other person? Was it the other person? And now when I say other person, y'all know who I'm talking about. I don't want to spoil the movie. But I'm thinking Courtney's mama, I mean Courtney did it. The girl's mama did it. Or if she didn't do it, she was happy as hell that it happened because he was what he was doing and stuff. Because it was just like, wow. First, her dad is gone, and I thought she was like, did she have something to do with that? But then I was thinking, like she said, I thought my mom did it, so I read her journal. So if you read her journal, then you know what happened with your mama. You already know. You knew what was the circumstances surrounding the situation. It's almost like you knew, but you had to wait for your aunt to catch up to what was going on, almost. So again, I would say look at it two times or three times because when you watch it again and just watch it, I was so excited when I first saw it. But when you watch it again, there's little nuggets in each scene that leads to the fluidity of the full picture. Okay, and I think that that was very, very good. I think that as far as Remy's acting, I think she's gotten a lot better. You know, I remember the first time I remember she was acting, and it was I wanted to say it was called Queen of the South. And I think MC Light put her on to that. So she did Queen of the South. I know she did something with Brandy. I forgot that show with Brandy and Eve and all of them was on it. She did that because Cameron was on that too. Um, I know she did oh God, what was that movie? Big 50. That's when she did a starring role. And I forgot if that was before or after the Lifetime movie with her and Tammy, Tammy Roman. And I know she did a supporting actress role on that. And then, like I said, the Big 50. She was also in a scary movie, and I can't think of the name of that movie. And I don't even know if they even advertised it, but she had a small part in that where she was Homeboy's friend, and some things happened to him or something. So when you look at it, you see Aunt Ruby having her own little resume popping up, and that's good for her. That's good. Now, is there anything else about the movie that I can say without spoiling anything? Outside of the girl being spoiled, I already talked about ooh, that little girl was, ooh, that heifer was spoiled, and she was talking reckless, and I was like, Remy, if you don't slap her, I will. Please tag me in, sis, tag me in, honey. But the niece, of course, she was standoffish a lot. She had her walls up and then down, up and then down, and I understood why because it's like every other thing was happening. You know what I'm saying? But once they found that out, that was crazy. The son popped in somewhere in the middle, and I forgot she even had a son. I was like, oh, she does have a son. So, do I wish that some of the material was a little bit hashed out, fleshed out a little bit more? Yes. However, I liked what they did with what they had to use, right? And I will say if it was from zero, which is like horribly horrible, to 10, I can actually give this movie, I think it was shot beautifully too. They did a beautiful shot. Um, I could say honestly, I could give it a strong 8. I give it a strong 8. I think that now that I looked at it several times and where it seemed like it was rushed, I was going to give it a 6 because of the film being so, it felt like it was just being exploded and rushed. But once I watched it again and watched several parts of it over and over to make sure I understood the situation more, yeah, I can give it a strong 8, no problem. And kudos to Remy and them two young ladies. Ooh, they can act. I'm hoping to see them two more. And the guy, okay, I'm not going to say this. However, there's a certain part, right? How do I say it? There's a certain part in the scene where you actually do see the emotions that you think that could be Remy, that where Remy kind of popped out at. And you can't help but be like, hmm, does that remind you of somebody that she popping off at because of some bullshit? And so, you could kind of, I don't know if you could, yeah, you can kind of see that. I was like, I don't think she acted on that part. I don't think she acted on that part. Now, there's a part here at the very beginning when she gets the call. She's upset, but like there, like she upset, but and I'm not saying that everybody does this, but and maybe because of the type of person she is in the character, very composed in a way, right? She was upset. She was not hysterical, but when she was talking, it wasn't no tears though in that beginning. However, when she found out about Homeboy later in the movie, that she had tears in that one. So maybe certain things affected Remy differently where it was more okay, this is more identifiable how I felt. Sometimes that happens, right? So I would say that certain parts of the movie, a couple of parts of the movie, it seemed like that was more of a raw emotion. And I like that for Remy. If you have to get it out that way, she's an artist, and artist gets out, whether you're an actress, a singer, what have you, you're gonna get it out. You're gonna get those emotions out. So again, I'll give this a solid 8. I think this was a good movie. It was a good, why, sit down, eat you some popcorn. You got the weekend. You done cleaned up the house. Get you some DoorDash or whatever you gonna eat if you're not cooking yourself and enjoy the movie. It kept me in suspense. I watched the whole thing, and that's the thing. It didn't. I didn't get busy doing other things. It wasn't like background, nothing like that. I think I was so excited that I missed some things. And so I'm glad I got to watch it over and over again. And again, kudos to Remy Ma and to the full staff. I didn't know everybody's name, but them two young ladies, them two young ladies was acting, honey. The husband was acting, honey. Hell, the kid popping in and about to fall out the trampoline. That little young boy was acting. Everybody was acting. Everybody was doing good. So, um, yeah. Good job. I recommend you watching it. And it's one of those things that you can just watch. It's like, I'm gonna catch up on this movie. So again, all right, y'all. This is Hip Hop Clarity, your reaction or review for Don't Trust the Girls Upstairs. I holla. Bye.
For hip hop, this is hip hop of the day. I give props to hip hop, so hip hop, hooray! Oh!
Ring a ding ding!